you ready?
Yes.
All right. Good morning. We're back, and I see that we do have Virginia on the Zoom or on Zoom. Virginia, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you so much for applying to be on our Historic Preservation Commission.
Thank you for taking my interview, and I appreciate it. I'm very excited for this moment.
Oh, good, good. All right, so what we're gonna do, we've got a few questions, 6 questions that we're gonna ask you. We're gonna kind of take turns asking you questions. And there's no right or wrong answer. And so let's start with Commissioner Tarswell, Commissioner Netherland, and myself. I'll just repeat.
Good morning.
Hello.
So, well, first of all, Merry Christmas.
Thank you to you as well.
Thank you. Why do you want to sit on the Mason County Historic Preservation Commission?
First reason, I love history. I do love everything that I've seen in Mason County with regards to the buildings. I love everything. I don't want to call it antique, but anything that has historical value, I find it fascinating about what came before any of us and the stories behind that, whether it's a building or a tree or land or a boat. I want to know the story behind it. And you know, I work in the grocery industry where there are a lot of brands that have been around for a long time, or grocery retailers. And so everything that I can find out about it, and that Mason County has a preservation committee to keep things and to market or to explore or to teach that to people in the community, I find fascinating. And that there's a team that can do that. I love teamwork. I believe that people are stronger together and that you can learn a lot from each other. I find that where I want to be. And so it's not really a one-word answer, it's many. I am passionate. I'm a passionate person. Randy's met me before.
Hi.
I come across as very passionate about what I believe in, and I do believe in this.
Can you please briefly describe any past experiences on projects with the organizations that you think may be applicable to the work on the Historic Preservation Commission?
Well, last year I worked a lot with Harmony Hill, and they're not there anymore. Now they're Sacred Waters, but it's still the same land. It's still the same idea of preserving that sacredness of the land, and still a lot of the same people are there. And so last year I led putting on arts and crafts fair with music and food and local artists, curated and invited the community and marketed all of that throughout the community, not just in Union, but all over. I mean, my idea is the more people, the better it is for us to get to know each other and to believe in the same cause. And in that case, it's including at that event, we had the museum from Shelton. I sold, with Jan, books about the community and about the history of the area, right? And so I've done that.
Okay, great. Virginia, are there any existing projects the Historic Preservation Commission works on that you are particularly interested in? Or are there new projects you have in mind that you'd like to facilitate?
I attended the meeting the other day and learned, because I'm still learning, right? it's all very new to me and I find it fascinating. So I got to meet the team and hear what the projects were that are being worked on, and the plaques, right? I think that's really cool. I would say I'm an expert in database management and Excel and all of that, if help's needed there from the team. And Jan shared with me a little bit about that there's, I guess, a marketing effort to communicate what is being done to the community. I guess at, different schools and stuff, I could help with that. And yeah, whatever I dive into, I like to be productive. I'm one of those people that, just say we need this done, I will go get it done. I love that. I think it's good. We should, use our time efficiently every day and work as a team to do that. And so, yeah, I could see myself helping with that for sure.
All right.
This board typically meets the second Thursday of each month at 2 p.m. Is this an issue? Will it be an issue for you?
No, it won't be an issue.
Do you have any conflicts of interest with the mission of the advisory board at all?
No.
Final question. Do you have any questions for us?
No questions. I'm just excited. I'm excited to learn that this is a thing here in Mason County. It's all good. Thank you for asking.
All right, well, and thank you for applying. So the process is typically, we'll discuss this at the end of our briefing today. And then staff will reach out to you and let you know how we feel or what the next steps will be.
Perfect. Thank you. I appreciate it. And it's a pleasure meeting each one of you on Zoom.
It's a pleasure meeting you, and thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye. Okey dokey. Saw Richard in the hallway.
Just want to handle it, or?
Yeah, shall we just do it right now?
Yeah.
I'd say yeah.
She's already off.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
That one's done.
Can you let Luke know that we would like for her to join the committee? Send her a letter and get her going.
Morning.
Morning, Richard.
Good morning.
And how are you?
Frazzled.
Are you?
This is my busy time. It's like a firefighter in summer.
Oh my gosh, right? How
Flames are up.
much is going on? A lot?
Yeah. Well, I mean, with no manager in the lead, leaving at the end of the week, it's a bit of a, yeah.
Yeah,
That's all right, though.
yeah.
The rest of staff's responded really well,
Oh, good,
so thank goodness.
good,
Makes me happy.
great.
But nonetheless,
It's
windy, rainy, keeps me up.
Yeah, yeah.
So, let's see, Loretta's not here. As you all know, I'm here, so.
Yeah, we'll take you.
Okay, so the first thing I got is a consultant agreement with David Evans and Associates, and this is from the Victor Creek project with Department of Transportation. It's all been going great, right? We hired these guys back in 2023. They've completed it. The contract actually expired December 31st of 2024. The project got delayed, like a year to work with homeowners and stuff. And we never picked it up. We're at the final end. There's a coupling. This is what the big deal is. The coupling for our pipe was shown on the drawing to be in the middle. There's a hanger there that's sized for the pipe, not the coupling. So we need to move it plus or minus 1 foot to the side. They can't do the change order unless they have an engineered stamp drawing. And so, that being said, we hired these people, we had like $39,000 contract, we used about $29,000 of it. This little portion that is required like right away, so we don't hold them up at all and keep paying a contractor to haul sewage for the two places that are cut off at this moment. It's like not to exceed $750. But I know, and Loretta's like, can we just ask for the rest of the contract price that we had already before, because we know there'll be other record drawings to produce and stuff like that, so that's basically what we're asking for, or what it is, and if we could get it on tomorrow's meeting.
I have no problem. Yeah, I'm supportive.
You got
Thank
3.
God. That was just, oh man, are you kidding me? I was like, yeah, plus or minus foot, I got no problem with that, and they were like, well, we can't do it without a drawing, and the
Right.
engineer's like, we don't have a contract.
Right?
Okay, I got one meeting.
Aye,
You
aye,
guys are lucky this wasn't last or next week.
aye. Right? Oh my gosh.
I'm lucky.
All right, can we make sure that this is on the agenda for tomorrow?
Oh, it's, okay, cool.
Awesome.
With all this weather and stuff, and utilities been doing great. We haven't had any issues or overflows, pump stations are working great. Yeah, they've done, well, we did a lot of work this summer on pump stations, so they'd be like ready for the winter. Good idea, right?
I need to ask something special. We had somebody who came into the meeting a week or so ago. Would you mind having somebody print out some of the work that we've had done in Lakeland Village and stuff?
Oh,
in Allen?
100%.
Because
That'd be
there's
great.
been a lot.
A
and,
lot.
Right, they're not forgotten.
Almost every
well,
pump
that person
station.
is the developer of the whole thing. How that could not go, I'm serious. So how that could go unnoticed, I'm confused. So if you wouldn't mind.
Oh, yeah.
Because I'm gonna go knock on a door, because that was.
Yeah, I can give you a
inappropriate,
list
in
of
my
all of the
opinion.
things we've done.
Oh my God.
Not just to the collection system, too, but the treatment plant.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, there've been a lot, it's
Yeah.
just, you know, and some of those were properties that affected him, I know that for sure, and we were there, and
Mm-hmm.
I sent it back to him, I said, do you realize I was on your property at 4 o'clock in the morning? What
Yeah.
are you talking about?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so were you, remember?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Well,
That's-
started at
that's-
2:30, I
It's
think.
not gonna happen again.
Yeah,
I don't like those calls.
yep,
It's like, oh, man, really?
No.
yeah, no, you were there, we were there,
Yeah, when he
Your
said that,
daughter
I
was
like,
there.
I know.
That's not
Your
true.
daughter was there, too.
Yes, my daughter was there. What we were talking about earlier about trying to empower her to do whatever she wants. She looks at me one day, I said, you can't go. She goes, Dad, I have to learn how to, because I said, there's gonna be angry people there. She goes, I have to learn how to overcome that type of stuff. Are you gonna deny me that? So I was like, get in the car. So she went with me to that sewer issue and she.
Well, you see angry
dealt with
people.
everybody and, yeah,
I'd be angry, too.
I wanted her to do anything she wants to do, guys. I'm real old school that way.
And the other issue we usually have this time of year is the Skoke flooding,
Mm-hmm.
right? I mean, we closed the road on Monday, we opened it back up on Friday. It's dry right now,
Wow,
right now,
right now.
but we've had an inch and a half of rain
And-
Are
since
they watching
midnight.
it since?
They are, yeah.
Okay.
And I don't know if
Figured they
it's
were.
you to talk to, but somebody needs to look and see if there's a load being created up above.
Okay,
Because that could be why it wasn't as bad as we thought, because there could
Look
be a
for
load being
landslide.
created up. Yeah, well, debris blocking things off,
true.
and I don't know that we've done anything to look at it area-wise. So you wouldn't know, especially in not in areas that's not ours.
This weather, it's hard to take a drone out that way.
Yeah.
There we go on that. Let's see what else we got. We got one more oddball thing. I'm gonna say that, but there's probably more. We'd like to advertise for a temp position. Our current temp, that is temping for Wendy up front for Public Works, has been hired by the Solid Waste Department to be a solid waste booth
You stole
attendant.
from yourself?
We stole from ourselves. Kevin, I'm gonna say, I didn't do it. Kevin stole
Kevin did it.
from Stephanie.
You're gonna have to talk to that guy.
I know. But she's great and we're excited about it.
I have no problem.
She's got great temperament.
Yeah.
But yeah, Human Resources just wanted me to bring it up,
Okay,
and
yep.
let you know. Upcoming items, we've got early closure for the Belfair drop box and the Eels Hill transfer station on the 18th for the holiday all hands on deck party. And
Might as
then,
well announce it tomorrow when you're doing the other,
okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
It just as a reminder.
yeah.
And then, not to let anybody forget, we do have free Christmas tree recycling starting on the 26th, running through the 1st.
Tinsel free, no wires.
That's a SWAT committee member right there.
No flocking.
No flocking, see?
No,
We don't appreciate that stuff.
clean and green.
Yeah. That's all I got.
Anything?
If you could just write down for me, because you can get it, I'd like to get an update on the Hunter Farm Purdy cutoff light.
Oh,
And be aware, if you could find traffic collision information at the bottom of River Hill. I'm being told that regularly cars are crashing there because there's not lighted, and I don't know of any. River Hill on Old Belfort Highway and River Hill.
At River Hill.
I figure everybody who lives there knows that road ends, but maybe it's coming from the other direction, but supposedly it's ended up in those people's property over and over again.
Okay.
So if we could just see if we have any crash stuff there.
Okay. I know Mike's back in today, so him and Jeremy are touring, I think, right now. Jeremy was out last week too, so,
Oh, man.
yeah, injured himself. He's doing better, but
I don't know what to do now.
it's hard to be, it's like a parent.
There's people falling off roofs and things
Yeah,
like that.
it's hard to protect them from themselves.
Jeremy's just getting old.
Exactly.
Probably not a good time to bring it up, but the port sent a message out that they were wondering if we're doing anything on Spring Hill Road to finish to the end of the road our curbing.
Ooh.
I don't know if we call it curbing, what do we call that? It's not curbing.
Widening?
Yeah, we do it's a path, it's not a path,
No.
but it can be used as a path because it's
It's not a
liability.
bike lane.
It's not a bike lane because
Not
different
wide enough.
liabilities go with that too, but it can be used as a bike lane. So if you could just look at
The
that and see,
widening.
to the end of 101. I don't know what their thing is.
Okay, and I know, I better bring up a pen next time.
Or you can just borrow mine. That's fine too.
I got a desk full of them.
They usually have a bunch of extras.
Got anything for us?
Nope, I'm good.
Cool, thank
Well,
you.
If you need anything, reach out.
Will do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay,
Appreciate
and
it.
Thank all the crew, all the staff,
Oh, yeah.
because they
No,
really do keep us safe and,
there's a
on
lot
our
of stuff
toes.
that just happens.
yeah.
Right,
And
I
they
mean,
have to
it's-
be on their toes all the time, so.
And it's not always fun, because like you said, you get a lot of not happy people out there, usually when we're dealing with something.
Yes,
It's
they have no idea
icky and
that
unwanted.
there was a tree down just before they got around that corner,
Right.
and our staff was there in the middle of the night cleaning it up.
They have no idea.
They have no idea. Just
Yeah.
the little elves and stuff just make all that stuff happen.
Exactly.
Little elves.
Cobblers.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Make the cookies.
That's right.
Well, that's what we should be doing, self-destructive. All right, thank you.
Thanks, Richard. Have fun.
Oh, boy.
Stay safe, man.
We're going.
Okay. You're up.
On to me?
Yep.
Okay, first one is just a request to move forward the lodging tax advisory committee contracts that have already been put into the 2026 budget. We just need to move them to the action agenda.
For tomorrow?
Yes.
Yes. I'm good.
Okay?
Okay, that one was easy. Now I have to fast forward and get to my other one. One that's not on there.
Before we go forward, I want
Yes.
to make it clear, I think we want to make it understood in case somebody wants to come into the meeting. We have no intention of changing things quickly on the cuff, just might want
Right.
to let people know.
Right. The deadline, there's a deadline
Yeah.
sent out by Chris for comments or adjustments and anything received late.
And it would be inappropriate for us to ever change it up there on top without going through an attorney to look at the contract
Exactly.
first. So,
Yeah.
if you don't mind. Okay.
Perfect. Another item that I'd like to bring up that's not on here, but kind of came up last minute, is a request to renew the contract for our lobbyist, Deb.
Yes.
She had put in some paperwork for an extension, but it was like an extension to an extension. Chris just redid the actual contract to redo it for next year. It's already been reviewed by Tim Whitehead.
I was gonna say, usually we have a provision in there that allows us to redo another one without an extension, to actually just re-sign them again. Make sure that's in there, because I don't want to screw that up.
Yeah,
It is.
he already sent it over to Tim. Tim reviewed it, and it was the exact same contract.
And she does such a good job.
Yes, and she has also reviewed it and
Worth everything.
is good to go. So if you're okay with that, I'll move it forward
Yeah.
to tomorrow.
Chris,
All good.
the agenda's gonna be changing.
I already
I don't
got.
worry about him though. I don't hear him grumbling or nothing. I don't feel nothing getting ready to be thrown at
Oh, you
me.
should see the looks he gives your head.
Yeah. I don't blame him.
And I have one more, but I cannot find out which page it's on here.
The meeting calendar?
Oh, that's what that one is. Yes, last week, I believe, Chris put together a proposed calendar for meetings for 2026. I believe he already sent that out to you so that you could review it. And just wanted to move that to the agenda as well.
Yeah, I'm good. Good.
I'm good.
You got 3.
Perfect. Then I think that's it for me, and we're gonna pivot over to Jim.
So I'm having trouble getting onto the meeting. When I go to the meeting link, it's telling me that it's for tomorrow. Is there a trick that I'm not?
We reached out to IT and they said they corrected it.
Oh, okay. Well, mine's not working. So
Well,
if it's okay with you guys, I'll just,
yeah,
I'll
I
just
have
do
the
the
hard copy if anybody
financials.
wants to see it.
yep.
Okay, I'll do it without the
Actually,
link
they have
then.
their computers though, so they have it too.
Okay, so starting with the general fund, this is for November of 2025, comparing November of '25 to November of 2024. So in revenues, we have received $45,605,848 this year, compared to last year, $44,534,016. We're at 103% of our budgeted revenue this year, compared to 99% last year.
4% is a lot.
Yeah, and I think maybe some of that,
Well, you got $500,000 in sales anyway. Sales
yeah,
tax
the
and other
sales
stuff,
tax.
yeah. So no, it's understandable, right?
And then the MACECOM tax going up, I know some of that is due to that. On the treasurer's revenue, detailed revenue, we've received so far so far this year through November, $31,457,084, compared to last year, $30,206,590. We're at 105% of our budget this year, compared to 103% last year. On the current expenditures, we have expended through November $46,774,322, compared to last year $44,548,573. We're at 82% of our budget so far this year, compared to 84% last year. On the special fund, specific revenue streams comparison, community development is down in November. We're at $2,386,446, but we did have ARPA in there last year. And everything else looks up, except for lodging tax is down a little bit, and so is REIT excise tax. In lodging tax, we had a big refund this year from Department of Revenue, so that's probably why it's down this year.
Jenny,
Yeah.
what, how's that community development compare to what we budgeted? Do you remember?
Off the top of my head, I don't remember. We'll get to the specific, or the revenues for the departments, and we can look at that. I know they always budget very conservatively on their revenue, and then budget like they're going to expend all of their operating expenditures, so, so I think they're okay as far as budget goes. but yeah, we'll look at that.
Thank you.
Actually, they're quite a bit behind the mark on 74% community development compared to 88% last year.
I think that they still had ARPA in this year's budget, and we didn't adjust that, so that'll throw that off a little bit. Moving on to county sales tax, and stop me if you have any questions, any other questions along that.
Just a comment on the REIT, that's actually, compared to, considering what's happening right now with real estate, that's actually pretty surprisingly good.
The
So,
REIT.
yeah, it's,
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty flat compared to
Yeah.
last year. I mean, just a couple $1,000s down, so yeah.
we're going
it's
through
not-
another
not bad
issue
at all.
without having inventory again. And so the fact that it's still keeping up.
So the sales tax, this year, in November, we received $940,000, compared to last year, in November, we received $893,000, so we're up roughly $47,000 this year for that month. I still haven't gotten to the bottom of the anomaly that we received in August, that $387,000 that we received over the previous year. I did call Department of Revenue, and they weren't able to give me any information over the phone, and I'm having trouble with my portal to get any information, so I'll try to get to the bottom of that. Hopefully it's, just extra revenue and not anything we have to pay back. So, I'll keep you posted if I learn anything, but we're looking at, if we receive what we did in December of last year, which was $800,000, we would be at about $10,577,000. At the end of this year, we budgeted $9.5 million this year, so a full million over what we received, or what we budgeted for, is what we're looking at.
Unlike the MTA that went that other way. I was glad that Wes spotted that.
We have that meeting tomorrow too.
For current expense, the cash at the end of November was $25,724,213. Last year at this time, it was $27,609,329. And again, we're at 103% of our budgeted revenue this year, and 82% of our budgeted expenditures this year, and both of those numbers look very comparable to what's happened over the previous 5 years. In the special fund, cash balances, we're up. The cash balances right now at the end of November are $71,154,296, and that's up quite a significant amount over the previous 5 years. Even factoring in ARPA, most of that, was temporary, and most of that's been paid out. So that looks very good to me. I did receive a request from Public Works for Fund 411. We have that $100,000 transfer that is budgeted in case they need it, and so I told them I would talk to you about.
To go into which fund, the
Russellwood. Yeah. Sorry.
Did we need it?
I use numbers. Well, I mean, they won't meet their reserve if they don't have it, but they have more cash this year. At the end of November, they have $95,000. Last year, they had $83,000, and they have not needed that transfer. So,
So do we can always do it later.
we can always do it later, and in my opinion, and this is just my opinion, I mean, they are supposed to run like a standalone business, and that cash transfer from the general fund should not be counted on for them to operate. It should just be if they need it, not meant to hit their reserve. And so
For emergency use.
yes, so My opinion would be not to transfer it at this time, but I want to get
The
your
question
opinion.
is, do they have anything that's coming up that might need a quick influx of cash? Because even if we don't transfer it and we go through a process to get it to them later, that's a long period of time. So I would ask that question. If the answer is no, then don't transfer it. If the
Okay.
answer is yes, then
I can't remember anything that they've said is coming up or warned us
They
either,
just
so-
made their
Well,
big
if it
bond
was-
payment.
I was gonna say, if it was, we'd be trying to take it out of REIT,
Right.
because it'd be,
Yeah.
if it was not
Mhm.
just operational. But again, we should ask the question just in case,
Yeah,
because
okay.
if there's something we don't know, I'd hate to
Okay.
put them in that position, then,
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Well, we just had Richard here and he didn't mention anything coming up.
Okay. I'll double check that and just transfer it if needed.
only if there's an issue.
Okay.
If there's nothing that is coming up that we see, we just keep it in the, we need the cash.
Yeah. Okay.
Very good. So what does it look like the road fund's gonna end up with? What's your thoughts now? It's probably not even gonna drop below 16, will it?
I mean, I've really been focused on the general fund, and then getting the budget in, to the end of the year, so I haven't done a lot of, cash projections on their funds, but I mean, looking at where they're at right now, where they were last year, I think they're going to, definitely end the year, higher than what we expected.
Yeah. What did they figure for their budget? Were they thinking 12 or 13?
I think it was somewhere in there, and then we changed it to, I believe, 15 million.
Yeah, or 14, I think is what we,
Was it
did we
14?
change it to 15? I
think
thought it
we-
was gonna be 15, but I remember us thinking safely, we could say to ourselves it was 14 at least.
I know we added an additional million for their cash
Property. Yeah.
transaction that was happening this year, yeah.
This probably doesn't show that.
I know, I don't think so,
No,
because that
'cause I
would have
didn't sign
happened
it. Yeah.
in December, I believe, right? I don't know, I haven't been
I don't know
tracking
anymore
when that
either.
was coming in,
Yeah, it could be.
but yeah, we'll look into that.
So, that's right. April 8. 3 and 7. 4. Yeah, their equipment fund's getting up there pretty good too still. They'd be safe to
Mhm.
order what they need to order.
Yeah, they're definitely not lacking in cash right now. For the motor pool, at the end of November, we've expended close to 1.5 million, and we budgeted 2.1 million. We still have a few vehicles I think we're waiting on to come in, but that budget overall looks really good. We're only at 71.4% of the budget this year. Last year we were at 70% of the total motor pool budget. On the special funds, the revenue, we have received $52,653,519 so far this year. Last year, we had received $56,096,590, and we're at 93% of our budgeted revenue received this year compared to 87% last year. And on expenditures for special funds, we have expended so far through November $45,370,727. And last year, we had expended $48,703,106, and we're at 64% of the budgeted expenditures this year compared to 65% last year, which is surprising that it's so close. On the county debt, we are at $14,513,799 at the end of November. That's the amount of debt outstanding. And that's in all of our funds, not just general fund. That's, most of that is our utility funds, and then we have REIT funds.
Can you talk to Public Works about, I'm sure we're not bringing in more than 3% anymore, right, for our investments on it. Could you talk to them about maybe paying off some of the Beards Cove loans? They have one at 3.13%, 107,000. They've got 1.25. It might be time to pay
Those are the
off.
highest.
Yeah, it might be time to pay off a little bit of that and get that out of the way, because it still costs money to have that money out there.
Okay. Okay, and that's all that I have on the financials this morning. I do have two other things that I wanted to bring up. So Fund 107, that was the RID for Shetland Road. That'll be on the action agenda for tomorrow. So that was briefed in October, November. I think it was November. And I missed that it didn't get on the action agenda. So it's in the budget. So anyway, that'll be on tomorrow's agenda. And then position control or position tracking is set to go on the December 23rd payroll, so this year. So so that is exciting.
That is
And,
exciting.
Where's your happy dance?
Well,
We'll see.
we'll do
We're
it
gonna wait till
after. Yeah. I'm gonna send out an email to all the departments, letting them know that that is coming, so.
Do you expect any revolts?
Oh, no, I don't think so. I mean,
I think most will be happy.
yeah, I think,
Yeah, it never works that way all the way, so I'm wondering who to expect the phone
No,
calls from.
I said most.
Yeah.
Most will be ecstatic.
but big thank you to Megan and Shannon, who worked really hard on this, to push it through. It was a lot of work, and so yeah, I'm really happy that it looks like it's gonna go. So that's all
That's
that I
awesome.
have.
Congratulations.
Thanks. Yeah, then we can get moving on other modules, so
very
exciting
cool.
times, yeah. So that's all I have for you. Thank you.
Any questions?
Yeah, I got something, we got a problem coming up tomorrow, kinda. We have a hearing on the comp plan, but yet, from what I understand, they haven't brought back the changes that they made back to the,
The housing, that's coming up.
no,
That was-
budget, no, the comprehensive plan, the stuff that they made changes, and we're gonna have a hearing tomorrow. In order to adopt it, it usually goes back before the planning commission before we get it. They have a planning commission meeting tomorrow, is it tomorrow or tonight? Hopefully you can get hold of staff, ask them to get to it. I'd sure love to be able to say goodbye to it, but if it hasn't gone back through to them, there's stuff in there they've never even seen. So they need to probably see that. That's, because their name's all over it. And, I'm not in a rush to pass it, because I don't let those deadlines change us, because they're not real. But at the same time, if we could get it off our plate, I'd like to celebrate it and call it a day and move it on. So if you could ask her if she could show it and get them to have a buy-in and not unanimous, just saying there's nothing that they need to have to rework, that'd be great.
Okay. Not a problem.
Okay.
All I got. What was it? There was something that you had that was great news. What was it? Shoot, I lost it. You were just talking about it. Oh, well, never mind.
So I believe you have two more. You have Maggie, and then you'll have Dave.
Come on up, Dave.
If you don't mind, I have to
Public
step out
event.
and take a phone call real quick, though, so.
Your turn?
Go ahead.
Good morning, County Commissioners. Angela Avery on the screen. If I could duplicate myself, I would. But I had planned to be there in person. I have a painful knee and couldn't make the drive, so sitting in front of you is Kristen Bishop. She's our juvenile attorney and worked with Maggie and I very extensively to put this packet together. And what we've done here is we put the rubber to the road for the case weighting system. And I'd ask you to listen to Ms. Bishop because she is, like I said, was just as integral to putting this packet together as I would. And if you have questions specific to me, I will answer them and I'll be here for the whole briefing.
You don't look like it, you will.
I'm precocious.
Okay. It's really good.
Good morning. Thank you for taking the time to look at our briefing and our case weighting policy and new contract for indigent defense services. Our goal in putting these together was to have a uniform system for weighting cases so that we had a sense of how to then comply with the case reduction standards. So we spent quite a bit of time developing the case weighting policy. We considered the RAND study, we considered the recommendations through the Office of Public Defense. We talked with contractors such as Ms. Avery and internal attorneys in our office about really getting into how much time do particular types of cases take, so that we can be very careful about when we're appointing for those different types of cases, we're not overloading individual attorneys to the point that they can't provide effective assistance of counsel. So the case weighting policy goes through what we are recommending for different types of cases. Certainly can answer any questions that you may have about why we chose those numbers. But you'll see that the highest weight are life without parole, third strike cases, and murder cases are going to be up at the top of the list. Those are very time-consuming, a lot of investigation, a lot of experts to sort through for those type of cases. So, and the consequences are the highest. So that's why those cases are weighted higher than other types of cases.
So,
You look like you have a question. Go ahead.
I'm trying to think of the proper way to say this. We definitely want to weigh how these are done by some of the other counties and what they're doing, not by what, if you think of it as a union, and you
Yes.
have the union negotiating a contract, you're developing your own weighting system. That's a little bit, that can be a little bit dangerous for us. We need to look at a weighting system that'll allow us to do the most that we can with the less on weighting, because it doesn't affect how much we pay out, because we're not gonna, you only get charged a 0.2 hours for doing an hour's worth of work. You still get to pay out on the contracts what they put in for the time. What it does is it hurts us with our ability to defend as many as we can without as many people possible.
Right.
So I just want to make that real clear as where
Certainly.
how I'm looking at it. So when I'm reading this,
Yeah.
that's what I'm worried about.
I
And so I'll need
totally,
more time to look
yeah,
at it.
I totally understand your concern. What I can tell you is that our case weighting policy is in line with other counties' case weighting policies. And so if we don't adopt a case weighting policy similar to this, we're not going to be competitive with other counties. So
Competitive, that's a union negotiation thing,
So,
not a us thing.
I totally understand. How it's an us thing is that if we can't attract attorneys to actually do the cases in Mason County because we are asking them to do too many cases, then they're going to go elsewhere where they're going to be receiving caseload that is actually doable where they feel, because each attorney is bound by the rules of professional conduct, and they are the ones that could be found to do ineffective assistance of counsel if they are not obeying by these caseload limits that the state Supreme Court has put into place. And so it's necessary for us to have a system that is in line with other counties, and that ensures that we're not placing our contractors in a situation where they would be providing ineffective assistance of counsel. That could come back on us. We could have liability for that as a county. And so we have to be careful to use our resources wisely. In fact, we crunched the numbers and determined that upon very careful review, we do not need to ask for an additional district court attorney for 2026. So we are being very mindful of the county's money, of taxpayers' money, and not asking for an additional position until we actually need it. So we are very much in line with your concern of wanting to be good stewards of the county
Yeah, I'm
money.
conflating the two, just so you know. I'm only talking on the weighting aspect of it itself and how this comes out. I myself, I'm only one person, but I need to look at it further and look at other stuff, because that is a worry. Just listen to even the
Certainly.
description, it expresses the same things that I have concern with. So therefore, I'm not living in a vacuum. It is actually part of the
Certainly.
weighting and
We-
your consideration when you put it together.
We take your concerns seriously. We feel that these are reasonable numbers given the complexity of the types of cases that we have weighted highly. You'll see that, for example, probation violations, we've only weighted as a 0.3, and so they can take 3 of those before it gets to the one full case. So we are reducing those, instead of that being one case, those are, you can have 3 of those before you get to one case. So that we also have those for other matters like revocations of an alternative disposition or an extradition, things that we know are going to be resolved in a fairly short period of time that are not as complex as a full case from start to finish would be. So we have reduced those in our caseload weighting.
Is there a possibility of a consideration for a happy medium in between here on this? Actual backdrop against time actually spent. For example, a probation violation. This one's an easy one. You actually spent, 20 minutes on it, it was done. Or there's other ones where you spent hours on it. That's what I'm hoping to see in the weighting.
So we actually address that in the contract for services in our mandatory, in the maximums allowable under the contract. So we have presumptive maximums, and thereby the nature of the case. And so we are limiting the number of hours that can be billed for particular types of cases to try to assist us in ensuring the reasonableness of billing. But one of our difficulties is that if we were to go to a system that was solely based on them billing for all of their time, it would be incredibly difficult for us to go through and determine whether every invoice was reasonable for the type of case that it was assigned. And so the administrative task that's involved in that is pretty high.
Dave.
Dave. Just so everybody
Sorry,
knows,
go
that
ahead.
was Dave Windom.
This is a.
That's quite all right. So we also have to look at our capacity to monitor that, and by putting in these maximums, we are wanting to ensure that we have a standard of reasonableness to go off of. But it would be very difficult for us to have to solely rely on reviewing those invoices for reasonableness to determine whether our contractors are actually following the caseload standards.
Again, there's one more thing, I'll let them take over on it. I'm separating the two out in my head. One problem you have is by doing it in this form, this becomes our caseload weighting with the state. That's what I'm worried about. I'm not worried about how we bill it out to them. That's not my issue.
I understand.
Because what I have to worry about and think about in my head is that we don't have enough all of a sudden and therefore I can't prosecute somebody or take something else on, where I need the numbers to be able to do what I can with what I have. I'm not worried about the paying them more. That's not my issue.
Understood.
Okay.
So,
I actually would be supportive
Yes.
personally of that being increased, because I think we're gonna have to deal with that shortly again anyway, as our baby keeps moving, but that's just mine. She's the chair, I'm sorry, she has to call on
I just wanted to add, there is a provision in the new standards that addresses what you had just said. There's a clawback provision where if a case is originally appointed at a wait of 7 and it resolves in a couple of weeks rather than the anticipated like 80 hours, there is a provision to reduce the credits of that case.
And that's what I want. So if we can structure more around that a little bit, and then, of course, that's what we pay somebody on the top level to be able to do that, to be able to keep our numbers. Because like I said, it's not the pay, that's not my issue. I just need as many as I can get to be able to take whatever's gonna fall before us next year. Or something bad happens and there's 20 of them, or we have an issue where there's a party and it turns into a melee and I've got, 30 people, and these are the things that I have to consider.
Randy, don't jinx us.
we,
Knock on wood.
we feel confident, go ahead. I was just gonna say, and then I'll turn it back over to Angela, that we feel confident that, given this case waiting policy, that we will be able to have enough outside attorneys in addition to our in-house attorneys to manage the entire anticipated caseload. If you look in,
Great,
Let me
Angela
see.
sent a list back in.
Section 5 of the contract.
yes, so we have anticipated caseload for 2026, and you can see there's a table where we showed you the number of cases. So what we did is we looked at the average from 2020 to 2025 for filings, and then we looked at them unweighted, then we weighted them, and then we reduced the number that Tashner and Associates has a contract for. And then we reduced, we anticipate about 10% of, for example, misdemeanor cases would be private counsel. And so we took off another 10%, and then we have a remainder of the number of cases that we would need to have handled during that year. And when we do that, what we have found is that our need, we actually can absorb more felony cases than have been filed if we are fully staffed in our Office for Felony Defense. So our usage for felony attorneys should be down for 2026. And then our need for district court attorneys, when we're fully staffed, which we are now, we're anticipating only having to refer out around 27 cases for the entire year. And so I hear your concerns about not wanting to put us in a position where we don't have sufficient attorneys.
Separating the two, though, I don't have an issue with even that. Whatever we decide here, if this is, we do the one document, and base our weighting on this for the contracts and stuff like that, that's what we'll be held to. What I am hoping is that we will see another plan that we could use and adopt as ours that will stretch the limits as much as we can. I'm not worried about how we bill it out and stuff. I'm worried about us setting up that plan that we send to the state that allows us, in whatever condition, to be able to expand and be able to defend as many people as we can if necessary. I have no problem with the contract aspect of it. And if you'd like, please call me later on and we can talk about it a little bit further, because I think we can get there. I don't have issue with what you guys had put together. I just have issue with that becoming our weighted schedule with the state.
Right, well, then we have to make sure that we have to do 10% every year for the next 10
Yes.
years.
That, and also weighted that way too, to what it looks like.
Okay.
Because that is a great point.
And we used the case-weighted standards when we looked at the reductions. And so you can see that with those caseload standards that we have set out, that for 2026, we have more capacity than we anticipated in district court, and our need for felony attorneys will be less than anticipated. And we have used a as conservative as possible reduction down to the case limit between now and 2035. So we feel that this is a sustainable proposal, that we will be able to get sufficient outside attorneys for any need beyond what our office can handle with these case weighting, with this case weighting system. So I do understand your concern that if we weight some cases too high, then the number we can assign is lower, and we don't have enough attorneys to take that on. But with our projections, we don't anticipate that that's going to be a problem. Our thought was that we need a system for 2026, right? That's our first year that we have to reduce, and we have to have a system in place. So this is our proposal for 2026. We're going to be collecting data during 2026 on filings, on how the case weighting system is working, so that we can adjust if necessary. So we can revisit this and have a recommendation for what the policy should be going forward. But we have to have a policy to start out with, and we have to be able to then gather some data to be able to let you all know if we feel that we need to make adjustments to that policy.
But I assume the state will not be comfortable with this going backwards. Once we establish something, they're gonna look for expansion, not claw backwards.
I think, Randy, one of the things that are very, very unique to lawyers is that we have the law license, and so we're not necessarily beholden to the county commissioners. To keep our law license, we have to follow these new indigent standards rules. So there's an extra layer of, we are supposed to do, it's not really the state, it's the Washington State Supreme Court. Our lawyers in our office and our contractors have to follow the rules. So whatever policy we put in place, the lawyer rules are the first layer of protection for the county, that they'll follow the indigent standard rules, and then on top of that, they have to follow whatever policy we put in place, because they have to follow the standards of indigent defense. So I think that's a second layer of protection for Mason County that we
I'm completely
use our law license.
I'm completely aware of that. I did some work with this though in the past. That's why I am aware of that, and also know that what I'm talking about is a little bit separate than that. Again, if you want, just go ahead and give me a call. We'll talk about it a little bit further.
Okay.
But
So, just to sum up, we have considered the RAND study, Office of Public Defense recommendations for case weighting. We've looked at other counties and how they do case weighting, and we feel that this is an appropriate standard that we should be utilizing. Again, as Ms. Avery just said, attorneys are bound by the rules of professional conduct to follow the Supreme Court's order with respect to how many cases they can take and following those standards. And so if we, as the Office of Public Defense, are assigning out too many cases to these attorneys, that could potentially come back on us and on the county for not ensuring that our defendants are getting effective representation. And so we are also mindful of the fact that we don't want to bring liability to the county for giving out too many cases to individual attorneys. And so we have to have something that shows how these attorneys are required to weight their cases in their own determination of their caseload standards, so that we're not giving them too many cases, and then therefore they're providing ineffective assistance of counsel. So The numbers, we can talk about those some more, but we do need to have a policy with respect to how we're gonna weight cases and how we're going to assign those out to our contractors.
And that has to take effect by the first of the year, is that right?
The Washington State Supreme Court has said that we have to implement reductions starting in 2026.
Yeah, it does.
So it's gonna be difficult for us to implement caseload reductions if we haven't established our case weighting policy. Other than.
This is guided by the Supreme Court. I mean, it's not guided, it's being regulated by the.
Yes, they have required that every county establish a case weighting policy in order to effectuate the case reduction
Yes.
limits.
At this point, that's what's being required. They haven't given us a number, they haven't given anything. It's for us to decide that and put it forward and look and see if it'll be accepted, and that's why the difference is.
The other information included in the contract, as I said, we have put in maximums for our various types of cases to help ensure that we're not paying out unreasonable amounts in our contractor invoices. And there's a section in here where they can request a case be weighted differently, or they can request extraordinary compensation if a case is taking more time than the maximum that we've put in here. And we have established that we will review that with a team of at least 2 attorneys in the office, and Maggie, who administers the contract, because she sees hundreds of invoices. And so that's a way that we feel that we can ensure that there's reasonableness in paying out those invoices. Do you all have any other questions?
Where are you gonna get the attorneys?
Where are we gonna get the
to
attorneys?
Keep up with all of these
You mean
changes
as far as
the
when
years
we go?
on.
So that's gonna be a struggle for all counties, right?
And the nation.
And the nation. There is a shortage of attorneys, and there is a shortage of defense attorneys. We feel that Mason County's best asset is its people. And we want to inspire people here in Mason County to become attorneys and to become public defenders in our office. And so I have quite a few ideas about how to accomplish that. We're going to be working with the Office of Public Defense with the Rural Recruitment Program. That will provide us with Rule 9 interns. Those interns can go into court under the supervision of another attorney. And so that will take some of the easier functions of the job off of our attorneys and allow them to handle their cases more effectively. There are also potential new hires down the road when we're looking at expanding the number of attorneys we need. I believe that once someone comes to Mason County and sees it, they're going to fall in love with it like I have. They're going to want to practice here. This is a great place to practice. And so what we need to do is show people, bring them in and show them. So we want to use the Rural Recruitment Program. I'm also interested in looking at the possibility of using work-study students to man our phones from Olympic Community College in the criminal justice program. It would be a great way, again, to introduce them to public defense, and maybe they'll go on to be paralegals or attorneys and come back and work in our office, right? I'd love to see us have a mock trial program with our high schools to get our high school students excited about the law and the possibility of going into the law, right? We can work with Seattle University and the University of Washington to establish a semester in practice. That's an opportunity for a law student to be here for an entire semester under the supervision of another attorney, and they get credit, law school credit for that experience. And so we can do the same thing with the paralegal program over at South Puget Sound Community College. We can get paralegal interns to help support our attorneys to do the vital functions that only they can do. So I think that with all of those various strategies, we can pull from the resource we have here in Mason County, the people here. We can help expose them to the law and to our office, and then inspire them to go off and become paralegals and attorneys, come back as a Rule 9, and then be hired as we have the need for expansion over this period of time. And in the meantime, we will be helping to provide cost-effective support for our office as we grow. So those are some of our ideas about how we can meet our staffing needs in the future.
Yeah, it might be interesting to take some of these high school kids also that have come into the county and various places for job shadow. That might be another.
Yes, you and I did talk about a job startup program, and I think that bringing young people in and exposing them to the practice of law and
That's a
to
longer
the public
term
defender. Exactly, and
process.
I think we have to, we're looking at 2026 now, and 2035 is when we have to have this fully implemented. And so we have to have short-term strategies to meet our staffing needs, and we have to have long-term strategies. And some of our longer-term strategies need to be using this resource that we have, which is the people here in Mason County, and then inspiring them to come back and practice in our office here.
Yeah, it's could be a challenge, but who wouldn't want to be in Mason County?
Exactly. That's how I feel, is that once
To work with you guys.
people see what it's like to practice in Mason County, they're gonna want to be here. They're gonna want to serve this community in the way that all of us who work at the Public Defender's Office do, with passion and commitment. So.
Well, and Maggie, thank you for getting all the numbers and history sent over. I truly appreciate that. That's helping me understand more what our needs are. And so truly do appreciate you.
You're very welcome.
Yeah.
We are very grateful to Maggie. She is the lifeblood of our office.
Right.
I was just joking, we need to take out a Lloyd of London's insurance policy on her.
I would say she's been the backstop for the whole
Because she
county.
is, yes, she is
Yeah.
invaluable.
Yeah.
We are very grateful to her.
All right, so moving forward, are you not comfortable moving forward yet?
Definitely not, yeah. Need a little time on something like this to look at it. And it doesn't have to be done at the first of the year or anything like that. It's something that's supposed to be put into place during the year. It doesn't have to be upfront.
Okay, so I guess our only choice will be to tackle this in January.
Okay.
When does Tashner, does their contract expire?
December 31st.
Now,
That's
again,
a separate.
I want to separate the
Okay.
two things. I don't have an issue with the Tashner
Okay.
contract. It's
Just
the
the
waiting
waiting.
and
Yeah.
establishing our waiting system, which I definitely want completely separate, and I want to expand it to the most that we can do. I have no problem with the compensation or contracting. So I just want to clarify that. And it doesn't even mean that it has to be managed in that manner. I just want it established in that manner so we have the most to work with the state of Washington and keeping us out of trouble and everybody else out of trouble. That's the two separations that I'm talking about. Got no problem with the
That
contract.
makes sense.
Okay, so let's go, if it's okay with you guys, let's go ahead and put the Tashner contract on for tomorrow so that we can get that approved before the end of the year.
Is that gonna interfere with what I'm talking about for the future? If we put this on now, we wanna specify this is specifically for the Tashner contract and not for our waiting.
No, we only put the Tashner contract
I
on.
think it's helpful to, like you said, to keep them
So-
separate, so Tashner contract tomorrow, case waiting whenever you guys would like to, but soon in January, it needs to be early in January.
The Tashner contract
It has the case
waiting
waiting in
system
it.
inside of it.
Inside out.
Yeah, but it doesn't have to be our total waiting system
Correct,
for
it
the
could just
state.
be for that contract.
Yeah, that's what
Right.
I'm saying. I got
Right.
no problem with that.
Okay.
So it's the state.
So, if I may
Yeah.
clarify, so you are asking that we postpone adopting a formal case waiting policy until
Yes.
January. How do you feel about us putting it into the contract that
Doesn't
we are
bother me.
using Okay,
Teschner.
no, I mean for all of our contractors, or all of the attorneys that we utilize.
Well, right now, we're only
How
doing
many
one
expire at
contract.
the end of the year?
So our contractors are waiting to decide which counties they're going to be taking cases in 2026 until they know
What are waiting
Case
systems?
what the waiting systems are for each county.
Okay,
So it could, the longer we wait,
yeah,
the more likely it is that they take contracts elsewhere that would eat up their.
right,
And the wealthier counties are gonna be more aggressive in that weighting
yes.
scale.
Well, a lot of them have already adopted 100%. Kitsap did, King County did. Pierce, I think, is adopting it also. So a lot of them are just going straight in.
But even with the 100%, they're still gonna weight cases. They have to. And so it's figuring out how they've weighted and what they've done. Again, this is becoming a union negotiation here in front of me is what's happening.
Certainly not,
When we start doing everybody's contract.
yeah.
That's what this is. Again, we have one that's expiring, and I don't have a problem with that. But that's just me. They can choose different, but that's what we're talking about. When you're throwing in the others, those contracts aren't even before us, so we start
Actually,
adopting
this,
everybody
this
else's.
contract we asked that you approve this 2026 contract for indigent defense cases.
For everybody then. And that's what
Yes.
I need time.
And so I just want to be clear that if we put that case weighting into these contracts can be renegotiated. So we're not stuck forever with the contracts. Should our case weighting policy change, we can advise the attorneys that we are modifying our case weighting policy going forward. We just have to give them reasonable notice of the change of those terms of the contract. So
That would have to be stated in the contract.
yeah, and we can absolutely do that. That's what I'm saying, is that if
But
you're
that also means they can
concerned.
step back afterwards. That's a bad position to put anybody in, and a bad position to put us in, to put something like that. That's like a poison pill. If we decide to do anything, we can only go one way. If we go the other way, they can pull out. That's not.
So I think that the problem is that if we do not give these outside attorneys an idea of how we're gonna weight these cases, they're not gonna be comfortable taking cases here, because they are gonna have case weighted cases in all of the other counties they're gonna be taking cases from. And so we're gonna actually have a smaller pool of attorneys to draw from if we can't tell them how we're gonna weight our cases.
Okay. I've learned in life when I'm being herded, it's usually the slaughter, not the pasture. I
am sorry that you feel that
Yeah.
you're being herded.
Well,
I'm just
it
trying
feels
to
like-
provide clarity.
I know, but it feels like now we're really pushing for all of them. Again, you've got two other commissioners, they can vote to go ahead and do it. I'm very uncomfortable with it.
I totally understand where you're coming from, and I'm just trying to offer ways that we might address your concerns and our concern that we need to give contractors some idea of how we're gonna weight cases so that they can make a decision about what cases to take in what counties. So I'm really trying to be collaborative and find a point that we can collaborate on, so that I hear that your concern is we don't want to be locked in with the state. And I hear that, and you want more time to figure out what our case weighting policy should be, because you don't want to get locked in. I totally understand
Well, I would
that.
also want more time if I'm changing everybody else's contract
Okay.
than one day also. I can understand the Tashner one, we've actually been looking at and thinking about and working with and stuff. It doesn't bother me with the one contract. But doing it for all of them just in less than 24 hours doesn't.
I totally understand where you're coming from. Did anyone have any additional questions?
Comment, do you have anything?
No.
Yeah, my comment is, we have to abide by what was said by the by the Supreme Court for our weighting system. And so, in order for us to move forward with all the research that you've done, Maggie, and everything else, we have to do something. And so if this is in the Tashner, how many other contracts do we have?
that are
Not,
open.
not written ones.
Yeah.
Historically, we've only had Tashner.
Just Tashner?
Everyone else has just been,
The
Because
reason
we had Angela too, right?
for the
Angela's
chief, yeah.
firm, because they take cases also, right?
There's no contract for that though.
But there's no contract for that.
This would be the first
Yeah.
established contract for our contract attorneys taking cases.
And part of the reason that we feel that it's,
Attorney office?
Mm-hmm.
All right, that confuses me.
so,
It is
The way
confusing
that-
because they
yeah.
use the word contract attorney, but really
Yeah.
other counties call it panel.
and they're
Attorney?
appointed by on a case-by-case basis by the court. And so, the court appoints them for that case, and then they bill us
District and superior.
for that hourly rate for that case. Our concern is that we want to, again, limit liability for the county. We want to have them sign a contract, that they are not going to be accepting more cases than it is allowable under the standard, that they're going to abide by our billing policy. So we want to lock them into those requirements in order to ensure that they're billing reasonably, they're not taking more cases than they're supposed to be taking. And so our ideal is to have each of those attorneys that accepts those case-by-case appointments
And these contracts-
certify those things to us, so that we're not in a position later where the county has some liability because we were not ensuring that our contractors were abiding by those standards.
And these contracts do not guarantee any cases. It just means that if you take a case for Mason County, these are the parameters under which you have to operate.
Right.
So it's not a guarantee of work or
Right.
anything like Toshner's is.
Oh, it's hard to predict how many homicides we're gonna have or how many.
Yes.
And the shopliftings, I think they're a gateway crime. Because you
Thankfully,
can't really,
Shelton.
yeah, it is. Mason County.
Even though we don't have contracts, they still want the policy in place, is what I'm hearing from you. They want to know what our policy is for
Before
waiting.
they take
They're,
this.
correct.
These
That is correct.
Non-contracted.
Not so much the terms,
They want to know
They're-
the case waiting policy so that they can look at, all the counties that they practice in and figure out what their caseloads, maximum caseload can be. And so if we don't have a policy, and all of the other counties have a policy, they're more likely to use those case weighting standards to figure out their caseload, because it's predictable for them and they don't have any
So if their-
issues with the meeting the Supreme Court standards.
So if their caseload is more or less, they adjust to it. The same thing as no matter what we do here. They're gonna adjust their cases to be what it is. If they have another county that has a .2 for probation violation instead of a .3, they adjust that into their contract. If they have another one that says it's .4, they're gonna go with the least restrictive. So, again, time-wise, I don't.
Let me use probation violations for an example. So if other counties are using .3 for probation violations, they can take 3 of those. If we're not case weighting, they can only take 1 of ours. So it's going to mean that, they're gonna have less capacity for those in our county because we're not weighting those. So it can come back around and kind of bite us if we don't have clear, standards that are in line with other counties. Because these outside attorneys, may just say, we're not gonna do probation violations for you because that eats up a whole case in my caseload and I can't do that. So if we're not in line with what other counties are doing, it can cause staffing level issues for us as far as trying to assign out cases.
At some point in time, the state is going to have to.
Yes, I agree with you
Standardize
that
across the board.
that
And
we
they
do
will
need
eventually.
a standardized, but we don't know when that might come into play.
Yeah.
And,
They seem to really not want to do that.
and our obligation is we have to have a case weighting policy under the Supreme Court decision. And so, please look this stuff over, please feel free to ask us any additional questions if you have them. I believe that Angela had provided several different counties' contracts to take a look at.
I did. And we're actually, when I last met with you guys, I said that we were gonna adopt the RAND study. That's 12 points, case weight of 12 points for a life without parole case. That fills up a huge 47, when we get to just 47 felony cases, that fills up a huge caseload. So we actually went down based on other counties, what other counties around us are doing, and OPD, and we're only assigning that 8 points. That's just one example of a type of case, to say that we're not doing just RAND study and we're not just doing what everybody else is doing. We're doing, we picked our numbers based on the number of cases that were filed last year in Superior Court in Mason County, so it's very specific to Mason County, and what other counties close to us are doing. So we're more generous than what the RAND study did. We're more generous to the county, saving money for taxpayers based on, we can take more, for example, life without parole cases than what the RAND study suggested.
Yeah, I'm comfortable moving forward with the recommendation.
Well, I'd like to move forward with the Tashner and then talk about this a little bit more, because I agree, we need to maximize our flexibility for, I'm looking at the study you sent us, and the prosecution's just steadily dropping. Well, that's gotta, this is part of it, we're just not able to handle it because we don't have the attorneys to do this, and this just magnifies that case.
What we looked at was an average of the last 5 years when we looked at filings, though. We didn't just look at last year's filings. And there is a backlog of cases in the prosecuting attorney's office that need to be filed. And so we think that the number that we came up with is a good estimate of what we can expect, given that there is a backlog and that we looked at the patterns over the last 5 years.
But yes, it has decreased every single year for the last 5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, because homicides in 25 were 3, in 24 there were 7, but there is a backlog.
Yes.
And we've heard that from,
Huge backlog, thousands of cases.
yeah.
We currently weight cases now, and we have to get, if you think of the 10-year period, you have to get 10% per year to get to the
We
final
have an
number.
unweighted system right now.
It's unweighted.
Mm-hmm.
Every
But-
case is one.
I know that when we're paying out, we do it, so that can be considered a weighted. We don't pay somebody,
About time.
but we don't pay somebody as a full case right now for the 300 or what is it, for the misdemeanors and stuff. We broke that down in the last couple of years.
We don't have a case weighting system. Every case that's assigned is one case. And so when we're looking, this is, if you look at the filings, on our, where we say compliance with new caseload standard reductions, if you look at the filings, the total filings, that would be 920 case filings. But when you, 688, but when you weight them, it's 920. So right now, that 688, that includes every case, that's misdemeanors. Every misdemeanor case is weighted the same. For our felonies, the 295 filings, that's every case is weighted the same.
Well, I know Peter was doing some of that stuff. He was weighting them down when we were meeting with him.
He was making recommendations for how they should be weighted. It's my understanding we don't have a case weighting policy in our office.
We don't.
No, we don't.
We do not.
So-
We pay
We pay hourly.
hourly. Thank
For,
you. Yeah.
but as far as how those cases get counted towards these case limits, right, there's already case limits in place. And as far as how these cases get awarded or appointed out to outside counsel, every case counts as one. So a felony murder case is one.
So can you break down for us, and send it to us, please, if you don't mind, regardless of what happens, showing what that number would look like with this? When
It does,
what
it's right here.
changes that
So
down
if you look at,
exactly?
688, the total case weighting for that would be 920 for misdemeanors. And what we did is we looked at each type of case, and then the proposed weighting for system that we used. And we weighted that all out based on the different categories of type of cases. And that's how we came up with the weighted case filings for each year.
Can I see yours? 'Cause
So this is on,
I don't have that.
yeah,
Page,
sorry, this is
page.
This
is the-
This is in the briefing packet, where
Because I
it's
don't use
titled,
that, I go up-
that's the.
it is titled,
That's the
it
contract
is
for-
titled
That's what I'm
compliance
saying. I
with,
don't
so,
have
well, that would help, I think.
And we didn't have a weighted standard, but we also didn't limit how many cases they could take.
No, there's always been a limit.
Yeah,
The-
it's just a much bigger
the-
limit.
Which is a
We-
much
And we only
bigger-
have to go back
This
10%.
is a much bigger limit.
Yeah.
Every
Yes.
year from that limit, that's what I'm.
Yes,
So the limit
And
is being
so-
reduced and
To
also the
2004.
cases are heavier.
so if you look in the,
Yeah, there's always.
So-
in the
there's a natural
case
limit
weighting
regardless,
policy
you can only
that
put in
we,
so many
that we
hours.
Yes.
submitted.
I'd like to look at this if I can get a copy of that.
Absolutely, I'm sorry, you should have already received copies of this,
Just
but
wasn't in mine.
if you look at that, it shows you per year how we are, how we will be reducing from the current requirement down to the requirement in 2035 per year. And it,
All right, so let's do this. Let's go ahead and move on with the Tashner. We'll do that tomorrow. And then we'll give you a week or two.
We're not even gonna be back.
We're gonna be back on the 22nd. We have to. State auditor's
Well, at
office.
least give me a couple weeks, someone makes calls to the other county and
How about in January?
that works.
Yeah. All right, so we'll move ahead with Tashner and then come back in January.
and we do want to officially withdraw
January.
our request for an additional district court attorney for
So remove
2026.
that one.
I
Yeah.
figured that you would be in agreement with that. As I said, we are really carefully looking at the numbers and being cognizant of the use of taxpayer money. So we don't intend to ask for additional positions until we can see that the projections that we have, whether they're accurate or not. And so we don't anticipate needing at this time to make a request until 2027 for that. But we will update you as the year progresses, as we gather information on how this all plays out.
Sounds good.
All right. Thank
So
you.
much fun.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.
You want this back right now?
Appreciate you guys.
Get
Yeah,
me
I
copy?
will absolutely send that to
Thank
you right
you.
away. Thank you.
And
I
then
got
just
to
go
half of it, but I'll,
go ahead and send all,
We could-
to all three commissioners.
Certainly.
please.
That'd be great.
Is that different than what we've got in our?
I don't
reading
believe
packet?
so. It should be.
Thank you.
I was referring to the case weighting policy.
Right, I believe that that's in the case.
It should be in
Yeah.
your briefing.
I think it is.
So that this is the case weighting policy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I was also referring
And I got
to
that one.
our compliance with the caseload
I've
standards.
got that.
Okay. All right.
It's in the packet.
Yeah, I did.
It just didn't get printed.
Yeah, it didn't get printed.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, public health. Come on up.
Hers was highlighted.
Yeah.
That one, I think that's probably.
I got some cheap with highlights. I said hers were highlighted.
Oh.
Highlights.
you guys were doing so well ahead of schedule and
I know,
then
and
all
then
fell apart.
boom.
Yeah. Okay, Ian is first.
Just
Uh,
just
I wanna
approve
talk
it all
about
and let's get
flooding.
out of here. Is that-
Pretty much, yeah.
okay.
So done with flooding, but you know what, at least we're not up north or down
Yeah,
south.
like I said, we got out of it pretty good.
So,
Although,
I'll tell Libby, 9 bridges out.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a,
I
yeah.
was a little worried though, it hit me during the weekend. He may not know, some of these things we might have to call for the emergency, so they can get funds and stuff like that and get Red Cross help. So in the past, we've, you know, if we have to, we do an emergency meeting, we probably should have considered doing that in our last time we were together. We just,
Yeah,
but, you know, hindsight being 20/20 and we got out of it, we seem to be fine, but they're not eligible for a lot of stuff. And I think we're even limited on what we can do to jump in and help with some of these entities unless we declare it.
I don't know, Travis, do you know anything about emergency management?
A
Maybe just
touch.
a little bit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Sorry.
But I'm surprised John didn't ask us earlier, because normally we do, for something that, when we expect such a big event, but nowadays they're calling everything an atmosphere.
Yeah,
so
I think that's
I don't
part
know
of,
what-
part of the problem.
I don't know what is what.
Pineapple Express. I'd rather have a mango express. Sorry.
Okay.
Anyway, this is a press release to provide resources for the public for what to do if they have an inundated well or septic system and floodwaters. We've already put this information out on social media and would like to also do so with a press release.
Tomorrow morning?
Yes.
Sounds good to me.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
That's it.
Okay. That was easy. Moving along. Casey is up next with
So
environmental
this
health
is
fees.
just a FYI, this is our new environmental health rates. And I also attached a copy of the resolution that it provides me a formula to go through every year to get it to the new rates. And this is just printed the old rates against the new rates. So
What's the formula asking you to do?
it takes the CPI of Olympia, July to July, June, July, and multiplies it by the old rate, and it goes up to the next $5. So once it hits that next $5, it sits there
That's interesting.
until it bumps up again.
And not more than 5%.
Yeah,
Oh,
it maxes
I
out
was
at
gonna say,
5.
because some of those, that could be a big amount.
No.
Yeah, no.
No,
okay, that
We
makes
put a,
more
we
sense.
put a
I'm
cap
good
on
with
it back in the days.
Maxes out about
Yeah.
5%.
Yeah. I'm good with it.
Yep.
Okay. And
You
then,
guys are easy.
and then the last thing is just a follow-up of last week. We did get a extension from Commerce on the,
That was it, and it wasn't you, it was him.
what's that?
I told him he got the extension.
Yeah, this is for housing.
I told you there was some good news, but it wasn't his, it was his. Sorry.
Yeah.
I knew about it though.
Yeah.
I just didn't know what you were talking about.
Yeah.
So, already starting work on revising some of the things in the plan. Pulled some things out that the commission, it was just a non-starter on those things, so we'll be going back through those. And then, we'll put that back out again January, so what we're asking for is basically is the public hearing that's in progress, just do a continuation to a date to be determined. And I think we can do that tomorrow, basically just open it, continue it, shut it down.
And Commerce will give us 6 months, right? But we don't have to take 6 months.
We don't have to take 6 months.
But if
I've
we-
asked for 6 months, but they definitely gave us a month. I mean, but,
The date to be determined thing, that's kind of an interesting thing when we're doing the hearings, because usually that's the killer.
yeah,
But we
right.
have to do this, so
Yeah.
wouldn't it be
So-
wiser to set a hearing date
So we can
for,
set the hearing date.
yeah, for like 2 months, 3 months, and extend it again if we need
Yeah.
to?
Well,
Yeah, we have to advertise every time we do that, though.
right.
And so
I
if
don't
we
know.
do,
Do we have to advertise every time we do that? Because when we do an
Yes.
extension, you don't have to re-advertise for 2 weeks if you have an extension with a date. You
Yeah,
have to
but
advertise if you
what we
don't
did
have a
is we
date.
did an extension till tomorrow.
all right,
Yeah.
we did
But
So we have to
So we have
modify
to-
that.
Yeah,
extend it.
but we don't have to advertise again, is what I'm saying, unless we leave it open-ended, then we have
Well,
to advertise.
but the plan will be changed, so the plan will go back out to the public, so we'll have to announce that, so that'll be,
For public review.
yeah.
And that was one of the things that we had a hard time with too, is it was changed, but it wasn't changed in the packet.
Yeah.
So the public really didn't have time
Right.
to look at it, so.
So how much time do you need? What are you thinking?
So we talked about it.
Yeah, I mean, I can nug this thing out in a couple of weeks, but it still has to still has to go to the public
Right.
for, was it 30 days?
No, it has to be 2 weeks.
2 weeks. So, I mean, we could get it done. We get it done at the end of January, but that's gonna be really close.
We don't have to force anything, we can do it in
Okay.
February.
Right.
Let's
But
do
at least that
February.
gives a
Shoot for
date for
February, yeah.
the meeting, we'll figure our first week. If we can put it on there for the first week to remind us that that's what we'll do with the hearing.
First week
First week
of
of
January?
February.
Oh, February.
February,
Yes.
because that gives us all enough time to really
Right.
take a deeper look.
And if there's an issue that occurs, we can table it at that
Mhm.
time for another week or 2 weeks or a month or whatever we
So the
want.
first Tuesday in February is the 3rd.
The third. Is that enough time?
And that's, we have commission meetings scheduled for the next one, right?
I think so, yeah.
We just got the
Am I
calendar.
right?
I don't know, we just got the calendar.
I mean, I'm looking up at Chris to,
I know that.
Chris, you got that calendar in front of you?
Yeah, scrolling through it.
And we do, yep,
Okay.
yep, regular meeting on the 3rd.
Thank you for doing all that. I love when we simplify it and get rid of the stuff that's not necessary. I don't mind doing what's necessary because it's not up to us. We
Yeah.
have to follow
We
through
have
what
to.
the state says.
yeah. And some things like we mentioned at the hearing, they're estimates, they're not for surezies, you know.
And you had no problem, you talked to the attorney about the verbiage, to make sure that.
Yeah, we
we're
can
not-
make, yeah, that's easy.
Not held accountable for
Yeah.
finances
Yeah.
and paying for that stuff.
Really, because we're just doing the two major things, you know, the two committees,
Yeah.
and then everything else, we're just
But
following
you
the
did
checklist
say
from
we have
Congress.
to leave we do have to leave the addendum in though, on the compensation.
On the
because the
compensation
state's
as required by state law.
But we can determine that only two that fit in that category serve on that committee.
And we're
Yeah.
also looking at putting in that language that you were
Yes.
talking
Right.
about to
Yes.
Yep,
make sure
So we're
that
cruising.
covered. Okay. Yeah, thank you for doing this.
uh-huh.
Is this something we're gonna be covering Thursday? Housing and behavioral health?
Okay, yeah, I'm sure that's gonna be in there.
It's on the agenda.
Yeah, Melissa will be back and,
I just
she's
didn't
back.
know if it'd be updated by Thursday.
Yeah.
Thank you.
so,
Cool.
yeah. And I gotta get with Kel, because she and I are using different, well, actually, I went through the math last week and everybody was using the wrong numbers, so.
Yep.
That's
Yeah.
what Jeff is saying too.
Yeah, and you know, it's, you know, I used a number of 2.57 people per household, and that's what we used all through the RIA conversations,
Yeah.
you know, for 5 years, we used
Yeah.
that number. I think it's a number we should probably stick to, because that's what we've done a lot of contracting through.
I was gonna say, that's what our contracts say. Which number are they asking for?
Well, so a number of people per household at 2.57, so it changes the calculation that they said you need homes for 14,000 people, and that's 7,000 homes. It's not 7,000 homes, it's like 5,380 or something. So, I mean, there's a lot of math in there that needs to
Use
be,
the other numbers,
yeah.
unless there's some reason to say that I have no problem changing the numbers, because I like the ability to have more, as you know.
Hmm?
That's what we did. We did that on purpose when we were working with the wireless to give us the breadth
Right.
that we need. But if you gotta have justification if we're gonna
Yeah.
change it.
And we, you know, the thing we put forward when we did the RISE is that there are enough parcels that are developable to handle population increase.
And to be honest with ourselves and everybody else, we took we brought air to our chest to give more room when we were doing that.
Yeah.
Purposely.
Yeah.
So it isn't like we were cut to the quick on it. We
No.
purposely
Right.
expanded on that to protect us.
Yeah, we've got parcels enough as is without any plating to get us through 2050 at a minimum. So,
Interesting.
so you'll be seeing some changes.
But at the same time, find out what the justification is, because that's what they do. There's the planning commission and stuff, they go through all that stuff.
Yep, yep.
Because we came up with a number, doesn't mean
Right,
that
right.
we're right.
I just want to keep it consistent with the things we agreed to, especially with the tribes.
Yeah.
And also to have it match as close as we can to the comp plan.
Mhm. Yeah, and again, like I said, they're estimates, you know,
It is.
and
Yeah,
Hard to
but we're
predict
held
the
to some of
future.
those estimates.
yeah. But, and one of the hard parts is trying to guesstimate where populations will land, you know, and that's, And, you know, I talked last week that we're kind of discount the whole Matlock area, because we're only building like 1 or 2 homes out there per year. So let's look at how we allocate populations to other places in the county.
Gosh, I've got, I think, 5 or, you know what I'm planning, do you know? 5 or, probably 5 new homes going up in my area alone.
Mhm. But they're trending down right now, permits.
Well, I would too with this one.
I was gonna say
I
that
mean, for the last.
they're gonna go up again in the urban growth areas here shortly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
As
think
the
so.
money's becoming more open again, and,
Yeah.
And the city's doing pretty good.
yeah, the problem
With
is any
building
place
homes.
like Pickering
Appreciate
did
that,
get
Eric.
opened up. If Pickering, if we could get the state to allow us to do some of the things we need to do, like Pickering could be, you know, a great area for expansion in the future for even facilities for the county. The whole area we kept out from Green Diamond, that they didn't get to restrict the building.
Sorry, I'm just giving you the look.
I know.
Why are you here?
I'm going home right after this, yeah.
Do,
Yeah.
okay.
All right.
Anything else for them?
Throw something at him. The phone went off, I'm reminding you, the phone went off.
When he's feeling better, I will.
Yeah. Threw the bus at you on that
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. All right, Commissioners, it brings us to the end. I just got notification that Skokomish and, I think we all did, the Skokomish Valley Road and the Brill Road West are closed during flooding, or because of flooding. Ask people not to forget about the food and hygiene drive. That ends pretty soon, I think. Friday. Bake sale on Thursday. Don't forget about that one. That one's fun. And
Bring compost.
You already asked me.
that's funny. All right, Commissioner, anything else?
Madam Chair, I move we adjourn.
Second.
We're
Took me a
adjourned.
second to figure out what that was.
It's like my biggest hint. Come on.
I was still thinking of throwing stuff at somebody, so.
I would never.